mean, I have no idea which themes I might be exploring. Partly, of course, because I think, I suspect anyway, I expect, like most writers, I don't begin with themes. I don't think, well, I'll write, here's my theme for today. In fact, it's the last thing I would think about. In fact, I might never think about it. I rarely think about it, I'd say. I could barely tell you what the themes of my poems are. I mean, I could say there's some of them about Ireland, they're about, Yeats had this great phrase about the only two suitable themes were sex and the dead. Those are the only two themes. You know, I have no idea. I have no idea. One doesn't think about that. At least I don't think about it. For the simple reason that will take care of itself. One might say that we're very basic little organisms in the world, though we prefer to think we're not. We're very basic little organisms. And if we're lucky, we might have half a dozen obsessions on which we can draw, to which we might appeal, not consciously necessarily. And those will turn out to be our themes. But basically I think our themes are, you know, we tend to think about similar things. We tend to think about similar things. Love, lost love, death, you know. Joy, a little bit of joy. Though joy is not it's not so interesting as grief. It's simply not so interesting. Alas. You know, if I tell you, you know, I'm so happy today, you're not really going to be so interested in that as if I tell you, you know, I'm feeling awful today. Because then you can give me a shoulder to cry on, you know. Whereas if I'm telling you how happy I am, there's really nothing you can do for me except to say, what's your problem, you know? So, the themes, I have no idea. I suppose one of the things I have to say that when I do think about it, which is not too often, and I think probably not too often for the very good reason that it's troubling when I think about it, is that it gets harder and harder to be a lyric poet, which I suppose is basically what I am. It gets harder and harder to do that. It does not get easier, it gets harder. And, you know, one doesn't want to repeat oneself, though of course one ends up doing that. All sorts of things. One wants to try to do better, I suppose. And, you know, that doesn't necessarily, wanting to do it does not necessarily make it so, unfortunately. So that's always troubling to think about. But I hope that if it comes to the point, as you know, which may already have arrived, who knows, where you know, what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do is just so dreadful that somebody will take me to one side and say, you know, rate please, you know, maybe that email person will be the person to do it. Stop doing it. And I think actually, alas, one looks around and, you know, there are many artists who, you know, however distinguished their careers have been, you know, really have stayed on the train one stop or two stops too long. It's sad. It's sad. So I think, you know, one hopes that one will just go to Florida before then.